Hello everyone, the name is Leoro. There was a comment on my Jigglypuff video requesting for a Litwick challenge, so here we are. I chose Black 2 simply because it's one of my favorite Pokemon games, just barely above Black and White. Yes, I do have a soft spot for Gen 5, and I am not apologizing for it. Anyways, today Litwick gets the spotlight, and we will be finding out, can I beat Pokemon Black 2 with only one Litwick? Litwick is overall a pretty weak Pokemon with a base stat total of just 275, which is weaker than most first form starters. We have a fairly good special attack and some okay defense stats, but our speed is quite low. I really hope that we have a speed beneficial nature. We learn Hex, Minimize, Shadow Ball, Overheat, Will-O-Wisp, and Nightshade all through level up. TMs allow us to learn quite a few other moves like Flamethrower, Calm Mind, Energy Ball, Psychic, and some other niche moves. I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all this was written before starting. I feel as though I can win, but I will really need to be over leveled. I'm the most worried about the ground and water type gyms as well as Grimsley in the Elite Four. Do you think I can win this one? And if so, how many in-game hours do you think this run will take? Let me know in the comments. Before we hop into things, a quick look at the rules. In battle, I am only allowed to use Litwick. I will need to use other Pokemon for the use of HMs, but these will not be allowed to be used in battle. I will not be allowing the use of glitches or any sorts of exploits. There will be no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of battle will be allowed. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe as I plan to do more challenge runs of Pokemon games in the future, and maybe you can let me know what you would like to see. To start out the game, we reluctantly accept our fate as a Pokemon trainer, talk to Hugh about loving our Pokemon or whatever, and head over to Bianca where we receive our Litwick. I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Tepig with Litwick, that way our rival would have Oshawott, the most difficult one for us to fight. I choose the name Wisp just because I feel like it fits super well. The bold nature allows us to be a little less squishy while only sacrificing physical attack. Flame Body will also be quite the nice ability. We've also got quite a good moveset for this early in the game. Ember, Astonish, Minimize, and Smog. This is quite good coverage as well as giving us Minimize for maybe some cheese strategies. Now we have our first rival fight of the game. There was no chance this could pose an issue to us since Tackle can't hit ghost types. We just slowly weaken it down with Astonish until it is finished off. You wanna see? Yeah, kinda boring, isn't it? He used Tail Whip a few times during the fight, but it ultimately didn't matter. I'm just now realizing that being a ghost type will definitely make the early game so much easier than it was already going to be. After some more boring tutorial nonsense, we run into our rival once again in Flossy Ranch. He still only has Oshawott, but it still goes identical to last time since he has yet to learn a water move. It's quite fortunate because that star will for sure pose an issue in the future. For now though, I just take it down with a few Astonishes. After even more story, we make our way to the first gym leader, Sharon, the rival from the original Black and White. I love that they went this way with previous characters because it makes it feel like Black and White actually mattered. Anyways, let's get right into the fight. Though before I actually went into the fight, I knew that both of Sharon's Pokemon knew the move Bite, which would be super effective on us. So like any other fighting game player, I spammed one button for a couple minutes until it wouldn't do anything else. While maxing out my evasion, the Patrat hit me with a Bite for some decent damage, but my ability activated, burning him and halving his attack. Once we were set up, I attempted to deal damage with Ember. Ember did about half of Patrat's health, so with that burn, the damage brought him down to red health. Sharon then heals as I bring him right back down with another Ember. On the next turn though, he is knocked out with, you guessed it, Ember. Next out, he sent Lillipup. He used Work Up to buff his stats while I used Ember for about a third of his health. Next turn, we use Ember again for another third of his health as he misses Bite. On the next turn, he lands a Bite, bringing us down to 4 HP and getting a flinch. We are currently living on a prayer as I select Ember hoping for the best, and Sharon misses Bite, allowing us to win the fight. Very swiftly, we move on to the next gym in our path, Roxy and her poison types. I'm feeling quite confident since her ace is weak to fire. Wait, I forgot to heal. Well, I'm sure it won't be that bad. And never mind, Coughing has a dark type move. Well, that was not my best play, but let's try again being healed up this time. Coughing starts the battle with Assurance and gets a crit, basically making it to where I didn't heal. That's just great. Let's see where this one can go. We get the burn with Flame Body and did about half of his health with Nightshade. On the next turn, Assurance does very little damage to us thanks to the damage reduction from burn, and we take it out with another Nightshade. Now, at Whirlipede, we have the type advantage, so it shouldn't be that hard. Oh. It also has a dark type move. Well, that was fun. For this attempt, I remember to give Wisp an Oranberry, that way he can maybe have some extra health. Coffin goes down the exact same way as before, which brings us back to Whirlipede, but with more health this time. Ember does just under half of his health, but Pursuit does good damage to us. On the next turn, Roxy decides to waste my time with Protect, but then goes for Pursuit to put us in the red while we do the same with Ember. Roxy then heals up, and we're not able to do enough damage with Ember and get finished off on the next turn. Okay, I'm done with trying to play fair. It's time to abuse Minimize. On our first attempt with Minimize, we get hit by Assurance while maxing out our evasion, but also get a burn due to Flame Body. So, you win some, you lose some. Now that we are ready to play, we are able to avoid Assurance and use Nightshade for over half his health. On the next turn, Roxy uses a Super Potion, but we are able to bring Coughing back down to half with another Ember. Assurance hits for a very little damage that is healed up by an Oranberry, but we finish it off with one more Ember. Whirlipede goes for Protect on the first turn as I attempt to burn it with Will-O-Wisp. On the next turn though, we are successful. We then go for Ember to bring it down to half while still avoiding her moves. We continue to dodge all of her moves and use Ember to bring it down for a very low health as it is finished off by the burn. Woo! We are hype. Well, that's the second gym badge earned. Before we are able to move on to more important things, I had to suffer through the movie making process. I'll say that I do love this game, but this movie making arc is just so annoying on the replay. Like, it was fun the first time when I was playing through, but man, does it get obnoxious. Once that's been dealt with, we're able to make our way to the next gym. I'm feeling fairly confident going in, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Berg leads with his Swadloon, which goes for Razor Leaf off the bat, which barely leaves a scratch on us and is one shot by Flame Burst. Next out is Dwebble, the one I'm actually concerned about. He uses Smackdown for a good bit of damage while Flame Burst brings it down to low health. Berg then heals back up, but we bring it right back down. He uses Smackdown again, which brings us to quite low health, but we are able to finish it off with another Flame Burst. Then he brings out his ace Levani. He goes for Razor Leaf, which almost kills us, but we are able to one-shot it anyways with Flame Burst. This battle was much closer than I would have liked, but we earned the third gym badge nonetheless. We continue to trek onwards towards the next gym, but we run into this shady character named Colruyt along the way. He challenges to a battle where he leads with Magnemite, which is an easy opponent for us. Turn 1, we go for Flame Burst, bring him all the way down to 1 HP due to Sturdy, while he paralyzes us with Thunder Wave. On the next turn, he heals all the way up, only to be brought right back down again. He then hits us with Spark for minimal damage as he is finished off by the burn. Next out is Clink, and Flame Burst does massive damage to it, and he misses Gear Grind. Nightshade then takes him out, winning us the fight. The next gym in our path is the electric one led by Elisa. The first attempt is quite rough. We come in at a reasonable level, but quickly learn that it is not going to be enough when Volt Switch does almost half of our health. Will-O-Wisp does get the burn on Zebstrika as it swaps in. For some reason though, she uses Flame Charge as we continuously use Minimize to raise our invasion. We do the same for the next 2 turns while she misses Pursuit twice. She ends up hitting Volt Switch, bringing out Emolga, and we use Hex for decent damage. She then hits another Pursuit, bringing us down to 3 HP. However, Flame Burst then brings her into the red. Elisa heals up to full with a Hyper Potion. Our Flame Burst does just under half. We are then finished off on the next turn with another Pursuit. I'm not gonna lie, that was quite an unlucky attempt, but I'm gonna grind a little anyways before trying again. At level 33, I decided to try again. I begin by getting to max evasion, getting hit by a Volt Switch from Emolga and a Pursuit from Zebstrika in the process. We then use Will-O-Wisp to burn them. Flame Charge deals close to 0 damage, but Hex deals good damage for us. However, it gets healed up by a Berry. We then finish off Zebstrika with another Hex. Elisa sends out Emolga only to Volt Switch right into her Flaffy, which we burn with Will-O-Wisp. We then use Hex for amazing damage, and we barely miss the KO after burn damage. She heals back up with a Hyper Potion, and I misclick Will-O-Wisp doing nothing. We then use Hex, bringing her down to red health as she misses Thunder Wave. She then misses one more Thunder Wave before getting knocked out by Hex. Emolga is finally brought in to fight. We immediately go for the burn so that Hex can deal more damage. This is quite effective as a critical Hex one-shots Emolga, and we are able to earn the 4th gym badge. A surprisingly tough fight, but we are able to pull it through in the end. So on my way to Driftvale City, we come across Charles the Heartbreaker. I only bring this up because he demands a rotation battle, which requires 3 Pokemon. There's no way to get around this battle, so unfortunately, there is no way to beat Pokemon Black 2 with only Litwick. I'm kidding, there's a way kind of to get around this. We're just gonna grab 2 Pokemon real quick to let us be able to battle and get past him. I went ahead and caught an Audino and a Trubbish to go ahead and fill my extra slots, and for proof I didn't use them, here's the battle. For that battle, I just used Minimize and then spammed Hex, because that's all I really could do. Anyways, onwards towards the ground type gym. I'm just gonna grind ahead of time because I know this is going to be a pain. So at level 38, we make our first attempt at clay. We start by getting the burn with Will-O-Wisp, but not without taking sizable damage from Krokorok's Crunch. Next turn, we use Minimize while Clay chooses Torment, a move I did not think about being a problem in this run. Essentially, what it does is prevent you from using the same move twice in a row. This poses an issue when your entire strategy revolves around spamming one move. We barely tank another Crunch and go for Flame Burst, bringing it down to a sliver, but burn does enough damage to finish it off. Excadrill is brought out and misses Metal Claw while we go for another Minimize. Rockslide lands on the next turn, taking us out though. I'm gonna need a few more levels before I'm confident enough to try again. Back again at level 42, but we are still struggling. We take Crunch a little bit better, but it still does good damage. On this first turn though, Flame Body gets a burn and Minimize makes us more difficult to hit. Torment misses and we are allowed to continue raising our evasion. After we finish maxing out our evasion, another Crunch does a little bit of damage to us thanks to burn. Another Crunch lands for minimal damage as we finish Krokorok off. Excadrill is next and misses Rock Slide as Flame Burst brings it down to half. One more Flame Burst finishes it off, bringing us to Clay's final Pokemon, Sandslash. We don't get to see it for too long though, as we are easily finished off by a Bulldoze. This gym is starting to feel doable, but maybe a few more levels will make the difference. After a lot of time spent grinding, we are back again at level 46. Turn 1, Krokorok goes for Torment while we go for Will-O-Wisp. This is big for us since we're not taking the damage from Crunch early on. We then go for Minimize to raise our evasion while taking damage from Crunch. One more Crunch though brings us to half health while Flame Burst is able to kill Krokorok. Excadrill is brought out next and we burn it with Will-O-Wisp while it misses Rock Slide. On the next turn, he goes for Metal Claw for some odd reason and we use Minimize for even more evasion. Excadrill then goes down on the next turn to do a Flame Burst. Now we are back at Sandslash, but much healthier than last time. He starts with Rollout, getting a crit, which is very worrying for us, but we go ahead and get the burn with Will-O-Wisp. Another Rollout lands, bringing us to low health, and our Flame Burst deals about 3/4 health. Luckily, on the next turn, Sandslash misses Rollout, and we are able to use Hex to finally earn the 5th gym badge. Considering the amount of grinding that we need to do for this, I am very afraid for how difficult the water gym will be. That's a problem for future Leoro, though. Before being allowed to move on to Skyla's gym, we are gatekept by this weird battle championship thingy. Nothing really of note happened, but there was a rival battle, so I guess I'll include that. Oh, and also we were required to use 3 Pokemon, so Trubbish and Audino. Just sit back while Wisp handles this. We set up max evasion and then sweep his entire team easy peasy. The battle against Sharon and Colress were also just as easy. Here's proof in case you want to see them. Both battles also forced me to have 3 Pokemon, but I only needed Wisp anyway because of how weak the trainers were here. From there, we head straight into the flying gym. And by straight into, I do mean straight into, as I forgot to heal for the first attempt. We were not horribly low, so I try anyways to get information. Swoobat goes for acrobatics and deals some good damage, but our Hex gets the one-shot because of a crit. Then she brings out Swanna. I thought I could set up against Skarmory, but I guess she goes for the type advantage. Well, we are obviously finished off by Bubble Beam before we can do anything else. I guess that's some good information to have. Well, let's try again, but actually be healed this time. We start against Swoobat by spamming Minimize, as is standard for all battles at this point. We are hit by Acrobatics and Assurance in the process. Another Assurance hits us, but Flame Body activates, burning Swoobat and allowing Hex to get the easy one-shot. Swanna is then brought out, and Hex does okay damage, but Skyla misses an Air Slash. We then use Will-O-Wisp for the burn as Skyla misses once again. One more Hex is able to do the job and finish off Swanna. Finally, Skarmory is brought out, and Flame Burst brings it to a sliver after one hit. I attempt to finish it off on the next turn with Hex, but Skyla heals up. One more Flame Burst though gets the KO, winning us the gym badge. Minimize is really carrying us in this run right now. I'm thinking I'm going to try the next major battle without it. I guess we'll see how it goes. On our way to the next gym, we stumble upon our rival in Undella Town. I attempt to see how not using Minimize would go, and well, all the attempts where I do go quite similarly. Unpheasant uses Detect, and then we use Flame Burst while he uses Taunt. Another Detect, and then Air Slash for a little damage, and Flame Burst finishes Unpheasant. Samurai comes out and uses Aqua Jet, pretty much always getting burned by Flame Body, making Will-O-Wisp worthless. Shadow Ball does about half, but Aqua Jet does solid damage. However, we live enough to take it out. That doesn't matter though, since Semi-Sage just ends up finishing us off. Now, an attempt with Minimize goes quite differently. Turn 1, we Minimize while Unpheasant Detect. attacks. Second turn goes the exact same way. Turn 3 we get hit by air slash and flinch. On turn 4 we max out our evasion while he misses an air slash. Then we start dealing damage with flame burst while dodging all of his moves. Samurott is the same song and dance, we dodge both attacks in 2 shots. Sim Stage is brought down to a slipper with flame burst, only to get healed up while Shadow Ball does half. Seed Bomb actually lands for very laughable damage, while one more Shadow Ball seals the fight. Minimize currently feels quite indispensable as a move due to our very low defenses and speed, but hopefully we won't have to rely on it as much once we get Pain Split and can heal mid-battle with it. We've got one more major battle ahead of us before the gym. This one is a double battle with Hugh against Zinzolin from Team Plasma. I haven't really talked about them much so far, but that's because there really haven't been any important battles until now. Just a few grunts here and there. Anyways, they lead with Cryogonal and Golbat. An immediate light screen means this battle is going to take a lot longer than it should. Luckily, we are able to one-shot the Golbat with a crit Shadow Ball. The grunt then sends out Garbodor. My next target is Cryogonal, and I spam Flame Burst until it finally goes down. Then Sneasel comes out in its spot. Flame Burst from us and Revenge from Samurott take it out. Finally, Garbodor is finished off by an Aqua Jet from Samurott. Now we can finally move on to the gym. I really didn't think I'd be saying this again, but we need 3 Pokemon once again for one of the gym battles. I'm gonna skip over it because nothing really happened, but I wanted to go ahead and acknowledge that it happened. This game really doesn't like the solo Pokemon challenge. Anyways, on to Drayden. Leading with Druddigon, Crunch does massive damage, but at least we get the burn with Will-O-Wisp. Another Crunch seems to do enough to kill. Oh. 1 HP in a dream, baby! Well, now it's time to spam Minimize. After a lot of misses from Drayden, we use Shadow Ball to take out Druddigon. Next up is Flygon, but our luck quickly runs out as Earth Power is the end of this battle. Maybe one more attempt before I go grind. Learning from the previous attempt, I go for Minimize right off the bat. However, before I can do that, Druddigon goes for Crunch once again, doing similar damage. This time though, we get the burn from Flame Body. 2 effects for the price of 1. I continue to max out my evasion over the next turns. Once maxed, I choose to use Flame Burst for damage, hoping he would continue to miss his attacks and leftovers could heal us up. Eventually though, he does hit us a few times and Druddigon goes down while we are just under half health. With Flygon though, we are luckier than before. He misses 3 Earth Powers in a row while multiple Shadow Balls brings it down. That leaves us with Haxorus. I immediately go for the burn with Will-O-Wisp, which pays off as he lands Dragon Tail on me, but it doesn't deal too much damage. On the next turn, Shadow Ball does about half, but the Citrus Berry heals him back up. Another turn ends with Haxorus in red health, and one final Shadow Ball ends the fight, and we earn our 7th gym badge. We also learned Pain Split during this fight, so for now we're going to take it over Will-O-Wisp because there are not a lot of dangerous physical attackers left to battle, and Will-O-Wisp can be learned later as a TM. Admittedly, I did not expect to win there. I thought we would need to be in the 60s before we could win this fight, but we will take it. After fighting the gym, some story stuff happens with Team Plasma, freezing Opelousas City, yada yada yada. We end up fighting Zinzolin again, but one-on-one this time. He leads with Cryogonal, and we immediately max out our evasion because I know of a Weavile coming up soon. After we do that, we start burning it down with Flame Burst, and after 3 turns of that, it goes down. Weavile is then brought out next, and a Flame Burst does just over half while we dodge a Night Slash. The next Night Slash hits us though for 3/4 of our health, but one more Flame Burst finishes it off. This brings us to the second Cryogonal, which immediately sets up a light screen. We use Pain Split then to allow us to heal up. On the next turn, we become confused and hit ourselves in confusion. Luckily though, we were able to break through the confusion on the next 2 turns to take out Cryogonal. It got kinda scary there with Weavile for a second, but overall it was fine. Team Plasma runs away with the DNA Splashers, and we chase them to I'll be honest, I don't know how to pronounce this word, but this city on screen. But before we can move on to the story, we have to fight Marlin, the water-type gym leader. I did some grinding beforehand to see how we will fare. He leads with a Caracosta, which we actually outspeed, which is surprising since we are almost as slow as that guy always in front of you in traffic when you're running late. Caracosta goes for a Shell Smash, raising all of his offensive stats and lowering his defensive ones. We still go for max evasion because, well, it's a water-type gym. There's no way we can win this through an honest fight. After getting max, we go for a Shadow Ball for about 3/4 of his health. One more though finishes it off. Wailord immediately uses Amnesia to raise its special defense, making us deal less damage with Shadow Ball. I try to use Flame Burst for a burn, but it doesn't work and barely does any damage. A Scald eventually lands on us, bringing us to low health. After a missed attempt at Bounce, we use Pain Split to heal up, which actually does good damage to Wailord. Another Shadow Ball brings it down to one-shot territory, but Marlin heals up. Yay, we get to do that again. We pretty much go through the same process as first time. We try Flame Burst for the burn, fail, use Pain Split to heal, and deal damage. But this time we finish off Whale Lord with a crit Shadow Ball. Next up is Jellicent. Shadow Ball does just under half, so after 3 Shadow Balls, we finish off Jellicent, earning the final gym badge on our first attempt. I really didn't think that we would be able to win this on the first try, and I was very scared that we would be stuck here for a while, but I guess we got lucky enough and did enough grinding beforehand to do well. Next major fight is Zinzolan in a double battle once again. First turn of battle, Cryogonal goes down to Aqua Tail, and Liepard faints due to Flame Burst, but not without sustaining some damage. Another Cryogonal comes out and is defeated the same way as the first, and we attempt to raise our evasion for survival. This ultimately does nothing as Weavile instantly kills us with Night Slash. On the next attempt, I immediately go to max out our evasion since we can't seem to last more than 2 seconds if we don't. In the meantime, Samurott is able to take out Liepard and Cryogonal. Unfortunately for us, though, Light Screen has been set up, making us deal less damage. After us contributing almost nothing, Samurott is able to finish off the second Cryogonal. We get much luckier on this attempt when it comes to Weavile, as it never targets me for some reason. So after 2 Flame Bursts, it goes down and Watchog goes down to an Aqua Tail. Some reason this game kind of pushes all the major Team Plasma fights to the end, as we have another battle against Zinzolan. Learning from the previous battles, we know he will have a Weavile at the end, so minimize is mandatory. Cryogonal attempts to confuse us, but we only hit ourselves once and start spamming Flame Burst. This works well for the 2 Cryogonal, but Weavile managed to hit 2 Night Slashes in a row to take us out. Quite unlucky, but on the second attempt we were able to win using this same strategy. Now before I can move forward, I made an oopsie at this point. I accidentally deleted my entire save data up to this point, meaning I'm gonna have to restart and get here all over again. My Litwick might be a little bit different, but oh well. God, I'm gonna kill myself! Wow. I'm going to kill myself and it's your fault! Finally, after many hours wasted, we make it back to here. Only different is that Wisp is now a male candle. We approach Ghetsis and his new toy that he has to fight us. Cure him is no problem as it goes down in 2 Shadow Balls, but the same cannot be said about Ghetsis himself, as he has a team of 6 and they all have moves that are super effective. I attempt the fight once without minimize, but damage from Toxic combined with Seismitoad having many super effective moves is just too much for us. It takes a while for us to get an attempt where Toxic doesn't immediately doom us, but in this attempt we get past Cophagrigus without being poisoned and max evasion. 2 Shadow Balls is ultimately all it takes for Seismitoad to go down, and we are still at full HP. Drapion is next and we bring it down to red with a Flame Burst and Shadow Ball, but Ghetsis heals up. 2 more Flame Bursts are able to finish the job. Electros is next and it hits us with Crunch for solid damage, but we hit it with Shadow Ball for even more damage. Another one ends up finishing it off on the next turn. Against Toxicroak, we just spam Flame Burst but end up taking damage in the process from his own Shadow Ball. After a missed Sucker Punch, Toxicroak goes down, leaving us against Hydreigon. Against Hydreigon, I try for Flame Burst, hoping to get a burn so he won't deal as much damage, but that doesn't work since Crunch hits us anyways and brings us to red. Luckily, we are still able to win, but just barely. Victory Road was quite the trip, but we are finally able to upgrade to Flamethrower along the way, though, so that helps. Before we were able to challenge the Elite Four, Hugh challenges us once again. He leads with his Unpheasant that mainly spams Aerial Ace, negating our raised evasion. A burn from Flame Body keeps the damage done to a minimum, though. After maxing out our evasion and hitting ourselves in confusion, a single Flamethrower knocks out Unpheasant. Boufflant takes 2 Flamethrowers to go down, but not before dealing massive damage with Earthquake. As soon as Samurott is brought out, I use Pain Split to heal up just above half. 1 Shadow Ball brings it into the red, but Hugh then heals up. 2 more Shadow Balls does the job, leaving us against Simisage, who hits a quick Rock Slide before fainting to a single Flamethrower. Editor's note. No, he didn't. I don't know why my script was written that way, but that's not what happened. The footage clearly shows it going for Crunch. I don't know why I wrote Rock Slide. Anyways, talk about a scare. We are now 5 battles away from completing this challenge. Now, I know that even with our high level and minimize, this will not be easy, so before heading into the Elite Four, I picked up any more TMs that I need. The plan is to start out with the one most difficult, so first up is Grimsley. We go in with the moveset of Flamethrower, Calm Mind, Minimize, and Pain Split. My strategy for this fight includes setting up Minimize and Calm Mind against Liepard, and then sweeping the rest of the team, though it could be difficult due to attract from Liepard. On this attempt though, we get decently set up, and once Grimsley heals up the burn damage with full restore, we one-shot with a Flamethrower. He then sends out Crocodile, who lands an Earthquake, leaving us at 1 HP. Flamethrower then one-shots in return. When Scrafty gets sent out, my first priority was to heal with Pain Split, but that was my downfall, as right before Flamethrower could take it out, we were taken out by Crunch. Guess we couldn't keep up that luck for long, though I feel like this is the best strategy we've got. After quite a few attempts where we get shut down due to attract, we have this one that goes quite well. We max out our evasion and get 3 Calm Minds off before taking out Liepard. We do take quite a bit of damage in the process though. From there though, our special attack is so high we were able to sweep through the rest of the team with Flamethrower. All the rest of Grimsley's Pokemon are just one shot by Flamethrower. Next up is Chantel, and we swap out Flamethrower for Shadow Ball for type effectiveness. Now, I will admit this isn't my first attempt that I'm showing, but it is the first one where I don't get crit one shot by Shadow Ball, which happened more times than you would expect.
If I had a nickel for every time
I got crit one shot by Confrontations,
I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
We're able to get max evasion without any damage taken. Quite lucky. We then get up to +4 with Calm Mind so that when they do hit us, it won't deal too much damage, hopefully. From there, Confrontations goes down to a Shadow Ball easily. This then brings out Golurk, who hits Shadow Punch for sizable damage before going down. Then Drifblim comes out only to immediately fate to Shadow Ball. Then finally, we are faced with what we could have been. A Chandelure, but it goes down to a single Shadow Ball just like everyone else. This one went better than expected aside from certain issues that we won't speak of. And you know what, while we've got this moveset set up, let's go fight Caitlyn, the one that'll probably be the easiest for us. Though admittedly it did give me more problems than expected due to Masharna's obnoxious gimmick of using Yawn into Dream Eater the entire fight. But once we got ourselves powered up, it was so easy to sweep through everything Caitlyn loved with Shadow Ball. Now, this means the only thing standing between us and the champion is Marshall and his fighting types. The plan here is to change out Shadow Ball with Psychic just to give us a better shot. Like most fights so far, we spend the first few turns fixing up our stats. In the process, Throw hits us a good number of times, but Ernie is quite weak, so it is not a big problem. Once it goes down though, Conkeldurr is brought out to fight. Somehow it lands a Stone Edge with our max evasion for big damage. At least it doesn't kill us though. Sokka is next and goes for Rock Slide, which hits us. That's quite unfortunate, but we've got it this next time for sure. Second verse, same as the first. Stack up stat buffs against Ernie and attempt to sweep. Once I'm at a comfortable place in terms of stats, we knock out Ernie. This then brings out Conkeldurr, who chooses to go for Bulk Up this time. Why was this the move choice? Who knows, but this allowed for an easy one-shot. Next up is Ernie's brother Bert, who puts up more of a fight, as Sturdy prevents the one-shot. However, he still can't land a move and ends up going down. Mienshao comes out using Bounce, but his death was inevitable, and we beat the final Elite Four member, leaving only Iris in our path. After taking some time to think, I believe that the best moveset for this will be Shadow Ball, Calm Mind, Minimize, and Trick Room. Shadow Ball is the best attacking move that we can get on Litwick, as almost our entire move pool is simply invalidated by Hydreigon existing. The Dark and Dragon typing gives it resistances to Ghost, Fire, Water, Electric, Grass, and Dark, while being immune to Ground and Psychic. This means that Facade, Return, and Round would be our only options for moves that could hit it for neutral damage. But then we've still got to deal with Aggron and Archeops. That's why I'm using Shadow Ball. Calm Mind and Minimize I feel like are pretty obvious choices, but Trick Room might make you begin to question me. But hear me out. If I can get max special attack and then allow myself to move first, I might be able to just sweep through Iris's team. Hopefully the healing from leftovers will be enough to just keep us alive though. So without further ado, time to challenge Iris. Hydreigon deals massive damage with Surf and we get our first Minimize off. The next two Minimize come out with no answer from Iris, maxing out our evasion. Right afterwards though, Surf lands to bring us down to 8 health. We start spamming Calm Mind until we have the most clairvoyant candle in the world. Trick Room is then set up and we are ready to sweep. Shadow Ball one-shots Hydreigon. Shadow Ball one-shots Aggron. Shadow Ball one-shots Haxorus. I forgot about Focus Sash. Yeah, that Earthquake would have for sure killed us. Luckily though, we're living in the good timeline, so it misses and we are able to one-shot on the next turn while Trick Room runs out. Lapras comes out and I'm not afraid of it, so I refresh Trick Room. Surf only does like 30 damage, so I'm feeling quite confident. Shadow Ball gets the one-shot on Lapras, bringing out Dredagon, who very quickly meets the same fate. Finally, we're against Archeops, but it stands no chance as Shadow Ball once again gets us the one-shot, and with that, we have won the fight. Before officially being named champion, we deny our little candle of its metamorphosis for the final time of this run. Iris then leads us to her special room where we are named the champion of Unova. This run was quite difficult and it took much longer than I expected due to deleting my save file when I was almost finished. Sorry that it took so long. Hopefully I can get these out quicker in the future. And oh, I just realized that my capture software didn't include the playtime at the end. Well, if you're curious, it was 92:54. So 92 hours and 54 minutes was the result from this this save file. That doesn't even include the time spent on version 1 of this run. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions for challenges, leave them down in the comments and maybe I'll attempt it. As always, if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe as it's always appreciated. I will see you in the next one. Peace.